Guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another preview here on BIS Rugby. Today we're previewing the match between Ireland and the USA, which will happen this Saturday at the Aviva Stadium. We have two special guests on the show today who are going to preview this match for us. First up, we're going to hear from Joe Shep, who is the chief bloke at Three Blokes, Ball and Bod, which is a weekly show which looks at big issues within rugby, talking points from matches on the weekend and different topics of all sorts, as well as having legends such as David Campisi on the show. The link to their page will be linked in the description down below, so do go and check them out. Also, we're going to hear from Rob Hammerschmidt once again, who will give his thoughts on the USA perspective ahead of this match. First of all, though, let's hear from Joe on how the Irish will be approaching this match.
15, I think, will be Will Addison, a fullback. I think he's a real find, and yeah, he filled in at the centre at a very short notice the other week in Argentina. I think he's going to be an absolute fab player for the future, and I think that Joe Schmidt actually will probably prefer him and keep Jordan Lama on the wing. That would be my tip for the future. So Will Addison will be a fullback at 15. Andrew Conway will be on the wing at 14, and on the other wing, I think Adam Byrne might get a call up. If not, then it's likely to be Darren Sweetenham, isn't it? I mean, to be fair. And in the centres, I think I'd like to see Stuart McCluskey and Sammy Arnold from Ulster and Munster, respectively. I think that'd be an interesting pair. And Sammy Arnold's been playing very well this year, and McCluskey he admits himself he's probably a little bit down the pecking order on the centres because we've got such strength and depth. But I think Arnold and McCluskey will be the centre pairing to start us off. Ross Byrne, I think, will get the nod of Joey Carberry at 10 to give him some game time, and at 9 I think it has to be Ulster's John Cooney. I don't know what else John Cooney has to do to get into Joe Schmidt's books, but I think a good game will put him firmly on the map for an outside shout at the Rugby World Cup squad. So John Cooney, come on down. You're my choice for number 9. And then looking at the forwards, I think Dave Kilcoyne, Munster prop, will start. Niall Scannell will be at hooker, and Andrew Porter will start at the tight head. In the locks, I think Quinn Rue and Ty Byrne. That's quite an interesting pair, and I see my favourite for the future will be Byrne and Ryan at 4 and 5. Excuse me. Now, I know that everybody loves Big Dev, and he had a blinder of game last week, but I think as time goes on, I think Ryan and Ben are the natural pairing for the future. Quinn Rue, often very underestimated by a lot of people in the second row, has had a real renaissance, I think, down Common, and is an absolute fabulous player. I think he was slightly overlooked as well when he was at Leinster, but he's a real good player, and I think he'll start with Ty Byrne at 4 and 5. Rhys Ruddock, good, almost dependable. Again, is another player who, for most countries, he'd just be a starting player and a captain. He's almost like we were discussing this with somebody the other day. He's almost like the Guru Mamodzi from Georgia, or Parise. He's that sort of level. In another, like I say, in another country, in another team, he'd be an absolute standout player. He is a standout player. He's just so underrated. But then if you've got a back row in depth at Ireland, they've got what you do. So Ruddock will be at 6 and will be captaining the side. I think he is our go-to, if you like, 18 captain, always. 7, Geordie Murphy. And 8 will be Jack Conan. So I think that's the starting 15 for me. So we'll run through those again. Will Addison, a full-back. Conway and Adam Byrne, if not Darren Sweetenham on the wings. Sammy Arnold and Stu McCluskey in the centres. Ross Byrne starting at 10, John Cooney at 9, and then the forwards will be Dave Kilcoyne, Niall Scannell, Andrew Porter, Ty Byrne and Quinn Rue at locks, and then Ruddock, Geordie Murphy, and Jack Conan on the. So, there's good reckoning on the board for another Irish win, but you can't ever take anything for granted. So I think there'll be an interesting game. I don't think it's going to be anything like the Argentina game, which was dour. How could you beat the All Blacks game? You can't. But I think there's some interesting pairings against the two sides, and I think the side that we put out is still pretty damn strong. We have such strength and depth now. It'll be absolutely amazing. So we're looking forward to a good game. I shall be at the game with family and friends, and we'll take it forward from there. So we're expecting a 100% win. And I predict that Ireland will put the USA away by at least 17 points. There's my prediction. There's my quick run out for the side, what I think will be happening. But I think that there'll be an interesting scrum battle against the USA. So we'll see where that goes. And I think that's where a lot of the points in the games will be. Points within the game will be won or lost there. So an interesting tussle in the scrum for both teams. So I'm looking forward to the game. I hope you are too. To Brandon Smith, excellent show, brother. And to everybody that's watching, thanks very much. This is Big Joe Shep, Chief Bloke at Three Blokes a Ball in the Pod. I'll see you soon. Good luck.
US Eagles at? Well, quite frankly, it's been interesting. We are undefeated in the last 9 matches. The Maori match, of course, is not technically a test match, but over the last 10 matches, we are 9-1. And the USA administration, USA Rugby itself, and the American Rugby media blog has been going on and on about their undefeated record in the last year. As a USA fan, again, I couldn't be happier. The reality is that I myself as a fan have to pump the brakes a bit. While we had a great victory against Romania here this past weekend, a 31-5 win, and quite frankly, it was a good victory because Romania has been a bit of a tough struggle for us as of late. We lost the last match out against them. Overall, we have a 4-2 record against Romania. We meet a Samoan side 30-29, the first time ever we've beaten Samoa. And we saw Will Hooley put in a penalty conversion for the win. That was a great effort. So we got to, take what we can from that match. What I like to see is that we've beaten Canada successfully in the last year 2 times, and both those victories, one 42-17, 29-10. To me, those victories say a lot because traditionally Canada has been a thorn in our side. Been one of those teams that we have a tough time consistently beating, and it looks like right now we have developed some consistency there. Who can't, deny the Scotland win? That was a great win. I think that's the first time the United States has ever beaten a top-tier side. So that all those things point to an upward trajectory for the United States Rugby. But I got to be honest, we've got to temper that. We got to realize that until the United States puts a little bit of fear in some of those top 10, top 8 tier teams, or should I say top 8, top 10 ranked teams, we really have a lot of work to do. We need to beat an Argentina, and we need to put fear in them so that they consistently put on their tough side. Scotland was down a couple of key players, so when we play them, they've got to be forced to put out their best side. We've got to beat the likes of a Fiji. In my mind, we have to consistently beat the likes of Japan, which we have been unable to do. The lineup for this weekend's match in Dublin against Ireland. Well, the Eagles have been a little bit plagued by injury as of late, particularly to the back row. Tony Lamborn went off last weekend, and I think right around the last 15 minutes, he was actually left the field on a walking boot. He did not walk, however. I think he probably has a significant tibia injury. I haven't heard what the ultimate diagnosis is, but I don't expect that he'll return. So Tony Lamborn out. I don't know what Will Hooley's going to do. He was the hero in the Samoa match, but he did not play in the Romania match. Another player in question is Sean Davies at number 9. He played against the Maori All Blacks. I was at that match. I was actually sitting in second row on the same end of the field when he was tossed on his head by a second rower from the Maoris. I thought then that it should have been a red cardable offense. It was not. He was sent off with a yellow. Ultimately, he did get a suspension. I don't know if Davies will return. The other one is John Quill. He has played number 6. Quill actually did not play against Samoa, but did return in the Romania match. He looked pretty good. I expect that he'll return. So what's my lineup? Well, our front row is going to be Lamau Satella, Taufete, and Mullen. Our second row, I think, will be unchanged from our last 2 tests against Samoa and Romania, Greg Peterson and Nick Clavetta. I expect that John Quill will make a return after a really nice match against Romania at the blind. Expect Hanko Germeshis to return at open side, and Cam Dolan, the number 8. What a hero for me. Cam Dolan at number 8 for the United States. The back line. This one's interesting. I really liked how Ruben de Haas played in the match against Romania. He's a little different number 9 from Sean Davies. Sean Davies he's a good deliverer of the ball. I think he works well in his exchange with the forwards. I think that de Haas is a bit more of a sniper around the fringes. As a matter of fact, against Romania, he scored one about 5 meters out, kind of threw a dummy and then went inside the post, the Romanians' defensive post for a try. I think his tactical kicking is really good. He was able to put in a couple really nice box kicks that were inside that 5 meter mark that put some pressure on the Romanian defenses. The big question is at number 10. Will the hero, will Hooley return, or will Maggie once again get a second start in a row for the Eagles? I really don't know. I have not been able to find anything on the injury update for Hooley. Will Maggie played very well, so I think we're in good stead either way. Ryan Matthias will return at wing. Paul Lisicki is going to return at inside center, I believe. Man, he is one heck of a player. He, too, is one of my favorites to watch. Bryce Campbell, I believe, scored 2 tries against Romania. Look for him to return at outside center. And, the guy I just love to see in a lineup, Blaine Scully. Can't say enough about the man. I believe he's going to captain the side. I think he'll come in at wing as opposed to fullback because the fullback will be filled by, I believe, Marcel.
There you go. That's the end of this preview. Thank you very much to Joe and to Rob. Check out Joe's page in the description down below. Make sure to subscribe so you do not miss any more previews coming out this week and the reviews of the game on the weekend. And make sure to hit that notifications button so you do not miss an upload. Comment down below your thoughts ahead of this match and your predictions. And I'll see you again here on BIS Rugby. Peace.